Everyone's happy, safe, and well. This is Mark Johnson from Loyalty360. I want to welcome you back to another edition of Loyalty Live. In this series, we speak with leading agencies, technology partners, and consultants in customer channel and brand loyalty about technology trends and best practices that impact a brand's ability to drive unique experiences, enhance engagement, and impact customer loyalty. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Ellen Green. She's the Vice President of Loyalty Strategy at Bounteous. How are you today?
Doing well, Mark. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. We like to start these on a more personal level, get to know those who we're speaking with. So we'd love to know a little bit more about you, your current role with Bounteous, and maybe your background, what you did before coming to Bounteous.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been in the industry for about 20 years. I've worked both client side and agency side, heavy focus specializing in everything from marketing, loyalty, and CRM. But in my current role at Bounteous, I'm leading loyalty. So that involves everything from helping our clients drive loyalty, whether that be through like formal program design, evolution, or just looking for strategic ways to build that stronger connection between the customer and the brand. But I'm also responsible for developing and evolving our loyalty offering. So we're always looking for new ways to help brands engage with their customers. Personally, I live in Texas, but I absolutely love to travel, especially internationally. Been married for like 17 years now, and have two little miniature schnauzers, Miller and Benzie. So that's kind of my life and history in a nutshell.
Oh, that's good. All right.
Mhm.
For those who may not be familiar with Bounteous, I think you gave a little bit of a description. Can you tell us what you guys do, how you do it, how long the company's been around, and what industries you play mostly in?
Yeah, so the company's been around for about 20 years. We are a co-innovation partner to some of the world's most ambitious brands. I think we have around like 500 clients, about 1,800 employees around the globe.
Huh?
And our services range from everything from kind of the upfront alignment, strategic services, consulting, really helping clients build out their long-term strategy and roadmap to creating value. So that can include anything from actually building like mobile websites, apps, commerce experiences, as well as a lot of the marketing services. So doing like the strategy, execution optimization for like CRM marketing campaigns, as well as social, and then doing ongoing optimization. So we have our own in-house data and analytics department. One of the things that we do like to do is actually partner from a technology perspective, though. So, like I like to say from the loyalty side, like we essentially can do everything end to end, other
Okay.
than like don't have our own loyalty technology. So, like we consider ourselves to be agnostic. We feel like it helps us be able to create the right strategy, and then help clients either match that with their current technology or help them find new technology and be able to help them implement that and optimize it over time.
Okay.
Um, we work across a lot of different verticals, actually. So everything from our consumer vertical has, retail, hospitality, um, CPG, as well as entertainment. And then we work with a lot of restaurant and convenience store brands, as well as financial services. We work in B2B as well as healthcare.
When you look at customer loyalty, we always like to get a definition of how people define it within different arenas. So we'd love to know what customer loyalty means to you, to Bounteous, and to your clients.
Absolutely. So we define loyalty as an outcome. And it's this outcome of great experiences. And so it's all about building this deeper connection between the customer and the brand. And so there's a lot of ways that we can do that, whether that be brand interactions, moments of surprise, optimizing the CX, or even like formal benefits and rewards, or just like strategies with engagement and employees. So all of the core components from a loyalty perspective. But we're always looking for that ways to go beyond just the transaction, to create that emotional connection, but also help our clients measure it. And so we're looking at metrics that both drive like transactional and the emotional piece.
When you look at your clients and some of the things you do for them, what's helping them drive successful customer loyalty efforts, in the program strategies you're seeing, what's working today?
So we find like the best in class loyalty strategies have these three different pillars. So it's all about like the customer needs are, the business goals, and also what's right for the brand. And so from the customer perspective, it's really listening to them, whether that be putting in place listening tools, ongoing progressive profiling, zero-party data to kind of build out those profiles over time, or even looking at ways to incorporate different feedback loops at like key points within the customer journey, as well as like formal consumer research, whether that be quantitative or qualitative. But essentially, we're looking for all of that to look and help brands figure out like where they should be making investments, how they should be evolving both digital and loyalty. And so a lot of times it's informing like current and future roadmaps. And then from the business side, I think one of the things that we've seen, especially recently, is, brands are looking for ways to still drive loyalty, but say from a cost perspective.
Okay.
And so one of the ways that we've seen that come to life is through like enhanced experiences. So whether that be things that make it more convenient to do business with the brand, like leveraging technology to do that, or bringing in things like, fun and gamification into the picture, but also making sure that it's like right for the brand is the big third key piece. And so, there's a lot of different reasons why customers choose brands. So we help them kind of uncover, what those are and help them activate it from a loyalty perspective. So like we do this with a lot of brands, but one of the examples that I like is we work with Dutch Bros. And like one of the things that's really key about their brand is this whole notion of the connection between the customer and the employee. And so we look for ways to amplify that. So like bringing to life in the digital experience, bringing to life personalization so that the barista can identify the customer, see something that's unique to them, create that personal connection, as well as lean into things that have worked really well from a brand perspective. So they just hand out like physical stickers at their stands. And so actually bringing that into the digital environment, allowing customers to be able to collect these in a way was something that customers were already doing, like waiting in line once a month for like a sticker and a drink. So bringing that in digital and enable customers to be able to do it on a more frequent basis has been a big win.
When you look at some of the challenges brands are having, either your clients or clients that you're potentially looking to work with, you talked about a number of things that work well. What are some of the challenges that you see? Is it getting access to all the data, leveraging it? What are some of the challenges that you see currently?
Accessing and leveraging data is certainly a challenge. Like one of the things that we have is we have a growth marketing maturity model that we use. And when we kick off engagements, we kind of map clients out on that model to kind of see where they all are today, but also talk about like where they want to go in the future. And so that way it helps us to align with them on, are there certain technology investments that they need to make? Are they underutilizing the technology that they have, or do they even have the right data foundation in place to be able to do that? And then essentially we can help them put together a plan to get where they're trying to go.
Okay, excellent. One of the things that we saw in our State of Customer Loyalty report at the end of last year is there are a number of brands who want to redo or enhance their customer loyalty program, their customer loyalty efforts, add either new functionality or incentives that can drive unique engagement. What are you seeing around program relaunches or brands wanting to update their customer loyalty offerings? What are clients coming to you asking for?
A lot of it has to do with value. So they're looking to add value in low cost ways. So whether that be, creating a better experience. So some of the elements that we've been able to do is take some of the physical elements, convert them to digital, making it easier to interact with the brand. We've worked with brands where sometimes some of their business challenges, like they have a really long line. So maybe we can use like geolocation technology to kind of streamline some of the processes so that customers don't have to wait in lines when they arrive. I think also new and better technology solutions in general. So a lot of brands are coming to us when they've kind of outgrown or run into limitations with their current loyalty technology. So as they're looking to revamp their strategy, or they're looking at new technologies, they're looking to revamp their strategy at the same time. So I always like to say, like, it's better to start with the strategy and then choose the right technology. So then we help them basically find the right partner to bring that to life, implement it, and then kind of bring it together in their entire ecosystem.
Okay.
And I think the last one is really around the brand differentiators. So I think, we've seen a lot where a lot of brands have launched very similar programs to one another. And so it's not really driving true customer loyalty anymore. It's one of those things where the customer really isn't getting something in business A versus business B. Maybe it's points, but at the end of the day, it's not enough to really drive and motivate customer behavior and relationship share or build that connection that they're looking to for customers.
Okay. You touched on the fact that many programs are the same, that quote unquote sea of sameness within customer loyalty programs. How do brands address this? You talked about personalizing the offers and understanding differentiating points. How should brands be looking at the challenge of this quote unquote sea of sameness?
Yeah, so we see this a lot. I always say you shouldn't be able to take another company's logo and just paste it on your loyalty program. So every solution that we're creating is unique to the brand. So we're looking at the beyond just that core value proposition. So we're looking at all the different ways the customer is actually integrated into the entire experience. We're looking at creating ownable experiences across digital, in-store, marketing, social. But a lot of times we're doing consumer research, understanding kind of like what's most meaningful from a brand perspective if the brand doesn't already have theirs, and then looking at some of those key things and getting insights from customers and feedback. So for instance, one of the good examples is around if you've seen Panda Express's new program around like good fortune. Like one of the things that really resonated with Panda's customers was this whole concept of actually having this good fortune journey. And so now when customers visit the first time each month, they actually unlock good fortune. And so it's this whole notion of having a personalized fortune cookie and kind of building that emotional connection and leaning into a lot of the brand elements that make it different and unique.
Okay, excellent. And when you look at technology that could be important CDPs, mobile, proximity marketing, or kind of the differentiating pieces that you talked about, is there a trend or technology or even a kind of an overall idea that you believe is important for brands to be focusing on today?
I think one of the big challenges is with a lot of the economic pressures that are happening. I think, customer and loyalty is more important than ever. But I think a lot of times in these situations, brands forget the customer. So my biggest piece of advice is don't forget the customer. Like I think customers believe that a loyalty strategy is about being loyal to them, but a lot of companies actually get too focused on the business side of it. And so making sure that it has the right balance so that it ends up building a stronger relationship rather than tarnishing it.
Okay. Excellent. When you look at some of the challenges that exist and opportunities, is there a piece of advice that you share with brands who are looking to improve their customer loyalty, customer experience strategies? That there are one or two things that work well or they should consider?
Yeah, so we always look at it as like tell them to consider the end-to-end experience. So I think a lot of brands focus on just the program itself, but actually by evolving a lot of and optimizing the ongoing experience. So whether that be like making it more convenient to interact with the brand or just bringing in new elements that customers love. I think that's how brands actually win long term.
Okay. And the last question I have is, what can Loyalty360 do as an association to help you and your team with their customer loyalty and customer experience journeys or education?
Yeah, so I think two big things. One is content and the other is connections. So, while loyalty is an easy concept, it's actually pretty complicated to execute well and actually build true customer loyalty. And so I think the more education that Loyalty360 can bring, the better, especially around pitfalls that brands run into. And then connections, like helping brands be able to navigate the loyalty space, finding the right partners. But I think also creating forums for brands and agencies to connect and learn from one another. I got to attend Loyalty360 this year. It was absolutely fabulous event. So nicely done. But that energy and passion in the loyalty space is so big. And so the more that can be amplified, the better.
Okay, great. Well, Ellen, thank you very much for taking the time to join us today on Loyalty Live. It was great getting to meet you and also learning more about Bounteous and also what you're seeing within the industry. Great to hear. And again, thank you for sharing some of the tips for brands that they should consider with regard to impacting their customer loyalty strategy. It was great to hear.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me, Mark.
Absolutely. And thank you everyone for listening. Make sure you join us back for another edition of Loyalty Live soon and have a wonderful day.